This holiday season, many of us will be hitting the road, and the last thing you want is to be drained of your good cheer because your car breaks down. But many people forget to service one very important part of their car that can sneak up on you and cause a big problem. Our auto guy, Brian Bowersock of West Escondido Auto, is here to make sure your car keeps running at its very best, especially now when we need it the most. Kids are all packed in the car, and the last thing you want to do is wind up on the side of the road.
Everybody's on their way to Big Bear Mammoth to go snowboarding this morning or tomorrow.
Exactly. And so today we're talking about the differential, and I have to say, Anita and I were upstairs before the show got started. We're like, what the heck is the differential? So how do we get it checked if we don't know what it is?
All cars have them.
Okay.
On front-wheel drive cars, they're actually built into the transmission.
Okay.
On rear-wheel drive cars, it's actually the component, the power comes out of the transmission, goes down the drive shaft, and the rear wheels assembly is the differential housing and gear assembly. And what it is a ring and pinion gear, and what happens, the driveline power comes into the gear, and it goes out to the ring, and then the ring is bolted on the side of the carrier, which distributes out to the axles.
So if this goes down, I mean, this is very important. This is not a small
issue. If you break this, the car stops moving usually, or makes a lot of noise.
All right, so you're not going to be going anywhere.
No, definitely not. And the main thing about it, it's a fairly easy service to service it. You just replace the gear oil in it.
Okay.
Now, there are different types of gear oil for these. Some of them are just run a regular type of oil in them, which is an 80-90 oil. And a lot of the later model vehicles require synthetic gear oil for them, a 75-140 or whatever the manufacturer specifies. We got some different oils here. BG is a company that supplies a lot of aftermarket 75, that's synthetic, that can be used in place of the GM or Ford synthetic. Now,
so it's not a problem if you use this instead of those. It's not going to be an issue.
Correct.
Okay.
That's actually made to replace those. A lot of professional shops use BG products, you know, and it will replace the 75 140 that's made by the manufacturer.
Now, when I take my car in for regular service, is this something I have to ask for them to look at, or is this something at your shop you're going to routinely look at certain mile markers?
Well, at our facility, obviously, you know from talking to me, we track what's going on with everybody's car, and at certain mileage we recommend regular gear oil should be changed out about 30,000 miles.
Huh.
Synthetic, they say it lasts 90, but we've seen a lot of problems with cars. We usually start recommending between 60 and 75 to service those and do that. Now, a real important thing to remember with these when serviced, and your service provider, if you're going to a quality facility like West Escondido or other facility, AAA approved, should know if you have what's called a POSI unit. Now, this is really going to throw you off.
Yeah, I'm like, huh?
Okay.
What?
That's a vehicle that actually has clutches inside this differential housing that drives power to both wheels. It has to have an additive put in it to actually keep the clutches from binding. So your service provider should know those kind of things and what needs to be put in it to take care of it.
And this is the example of a one that's gone bad.
Correct. This actually, the housing broke. This is the other half of it.
Oh,
and
wow.
what's happened here, you can see this bearing started coming apart, and the bearing on the pinion started coming apart, and it put a bind on the ring, and it broke the housing is what happened. This is a vehicle that we actually just fixed this week, so I thought this was a good time to bring it in. But what happens without service is the bearings wear out. When the bearings wear out, things come out at tolerances, it gets bound, and then you end up with a problem.
And give us some idea. I mean, this looks like a pretty major fix. What are people going to have to shell out for this kind of a fix?
This is a couple grand.
A couple grand, so very expensive. So, but oil alone, just making sure you get your regular service can help.
With the synthetic is a couple $100 somewhere in there. If it's just regular gear oil, it's under $100. Wow. It's a very cheap service, not a lot of labor involved in it.
And a very good investment.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Brian.
No problem.
If you have a question for Brian, you can drop him an email. The link is on our website at fox6.com. Just click on Hot Topics.